Welcome to our channel Whitetail. Here we'll discuss about casteism in India. Caste-based discrimination in India is a deeply entrenched issue, shaped by a historical legacy. The complexity expands when we consider jatis, thousands of subcastes within these varnas, each enforcing unique social rules and customs, thus creating a myriad of interactions and hierarchies across communities. At the very bottom of this stratification lie the Dalits, historically known as untouchables. They face the brunt of discrimination, devoid of even the most basic human rights. Understanding the origins of the caste system is crucial to grasping its pervasive impact. Rooted in Vedic texts, the caste system evolved throughout the medieval period, furthermore cemented in Mughal period, then by British colonial policies that strategically reinforced these divisions to manage and control the population. This legacy of oppression created a toxic blend of cultural justifications supported by the beliefs in karma, reincarnation, and social purity. The ramifications of the caste system extend into daily life, dictating food habits, social interactions, and living spaces. Dietary restrictions are affected by caste affiliations, and marriage practices often restrict individuals to within their own caste, promoting endogamy. Social networks likewise revolve around caste, creating strong bonds, but also perpetuating divisions that hinder societal cohesion. Economically, caste manifests in occupational segregation, where certain jobs are designated for specific castes, often leading to unequal access to education and employment opportunities, leaving many at a severe disadvantage. In the political arena, caste plays a significant role in vote banks and the mobilization of communities, while reservation policies for scheduled castes and tribes exist as attempts to rectify past injustices through affirmative action. Yet, debates surrounding these concerns persist, highlighting the complexities involved. In modern India, the dynamics of caste continue to evolve differently in urban versus rural settings, where urbanization presents new opportunities while also fostering resistance against traditional caste practices. Caste-based violence and discrimination still mar the landscape, a testament to the enduring struggle of marginalized communities seeking recognition and equality. As society grapples with these issues, the movements aimed at redefining Indian culture beyond caste gain momentum, offering hope for a more inclusive future. The Indian Constitution stands as a beacon of hope against caste discrimination. Article 15 explicitly prohibits discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, while Article 17 abolishes untouchability, laying down a foundation for equality. The Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act, established in 1989, complements these provisions, aiming to prevent atrocities and protect marginalized groups from violence and discrimination. Despite these legislative assurances, the challenges to their implementation remain formidable, creating a paradox where legal frameworks exist alongside persistent societal norms. Cultural normalization of caste persists, altering the perceptions of community and identity. Caste pride has woven itself into the fabric of societal acceptance, often regarded as an intrinsic part of life by many. This normalization finds expression in various caste-based associations and is perpetuated through popular culture, where media often reinforces traditional stereotypes. These narratives serve to embed caste dynamics deeply into Indian consciousness, making the idea of caste not just a social issue but a cultural one. The intersectionality of caste and gender unveils a particularly unsettling reality for Dalit women who face double discrimination. On a parallel track, the phenomenon of Sanskritization, where lower castes attempt to emulate upper caste customs to secure upward mobility, highlights the limitations and complexities inherent in cultural assimilation, further reinforcing hierarchical structures. Moreover, caste-like structures extend beyond Hindu communities, permeating into minority groups like Muslims, Christians, and Sikhs. These exist despite conversion movements aimed at erasing caste distinctions, illustrating the complexities involved in caste identity across religious lines. On a global scale, caste discrimination has gained recognition, including acknowledgement by the UN as a significant challenge and a form of social stratification that extends even into Indian diasporas. Caste-based discrimination is often framed as a cultural legacy, a term that masks the ongoing reality of social injustice. This perspective is rooted in the normalization of hierarchies that many privileged groups have internalized as a mere tradition rather than systemic oppression. Growing up amidst caste divisions, they may perceive these structures as an unchangeable facet of their society, hindering conversations about the need for social reform. Furthermore, historical justifications serve to reinforce this mindset. Ancient texts and religious beliefs have been wielded to depict caste distinctions as a natural part of existence, with many believing they derive from a sense of duty rather than an exploitative framework. Such interpretations allow those in privileged positions to detach from the harms inflicted by these age-old structures, thus perpetuating a cycle of ignorance and apathy toward those who suffer because of caste discrimination. This disconnect is further exacerbated by the lack of first-hand experience among caste-privileged individuals. Without facing exclusion in education or employment, they dismiss claims of discrimination as exaggerations or even fabrications, unable to empathize with the lived realities of marginalized groups. Their struggles remain invisible, a backdrop against which they have never had to fight for equality. Moreover, there's a defensive mindset against affirmative action policies aimed at addressing systemic inequalities. Many argue that these measures create reverse discrimination, suggesting that efforts to rectify historical injustices only forge further division. By framing caste as merely a cultural legacy, they divert attention from present-day injustices, negating the very existence of caste-based suffering. Romanticization of certain caste-based practices also plays a role in this discourse. Rituals, art forms, and traditional occupations are often celebrated as heritage, obscuring the systematic limitations they impose. What is revered in societal narratives can overlook the real exclusions faced by communities bound by caste, perpetuating a cycle of glorification that dismisses their struggles. Economically and socially, the power structures serve to benefit those who maintain caste hierarchies. Acknowledging the oppressive nature of these systems would necessitate a reckoning with one's privilege and a commitment to dismantling these legacies of inequality. This is compounded by the misconception that caste discrimination vanished post-legal reforms, leading many to label discussions around it as unnecessary. In conclusion, when caste-privileged individuals label casteism a cultural legacy, they often downplay its pernicious impact. While history undeniably influences present circumstances, it is crucial to recognize that caste discrimination is woven into the fabric of contemporary society. To forge a path forward, a concerted effort towards social reforms is essential. This includes proactive educational campaigns that raise awareness about caste discrimination and the necessity for various stakeholders, media, civil society, and government to drive meaningful change. Ultimately, challenging the well-entrenched norms that justify caste discrimination is paramount to envisioning an equitable and just society, free from the shackles of systemic oppression. In this daunting quest, Indian culture can be redefined, celebrating diversity while fostering an inclusive identity for all.